Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Leadership Purpose with Dr. Robin podcast. I say it all the time, but I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you're listening in to the podcast and that you have been such faithful listeners. And because you've done that, you helped us get ranked in the top 5% of all podcasts globally. So thank you so much. Really, really, really appreciate you. And today I'm having a solo episode, as you know, I do from time to time. Sometimes I interview guests and sometimes I'm doing a solo. And this solo episode, I want to share with you something that I learned that I think would really speak to you. And I've learned this and observed this pattern over talking to so many high achieving women, especially for years on this podcast, but in general, in my research, and even I noticed this pattern in my own life, in my early career journey that brought me to this point now where I always have clarity about what to do and how to do it. And I always stay in alignment with my true purpose. And so the work I do is to help others do the same. And by others, specifically high achieving women, and particularly those who are at a career crossroads. So I want to share to you something that I've learned in this pattern that I noticed and that I talk about in my book, which stay tuned about that. Okay. All right. So now here's the thing. Even when high achieving women who are successful on paper, they're often privately at a career crossroads. And it's a feeling that keeps them coming back into the same emotional place. They kind of move forward and come back to the same emotional place. Here's some examples. They come back to the sense of dread, dread about what they're doing, or back to this feeling of numbness or just going through the motions, or back to this quiet feeling of this isn't it. And so if you experienced or thought any of that, I just want to say you're not broken, you're not behind, and you're not the only one. What you're experiencing is a pattern, a loop. And when you can name that loop, you can interrupt it. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through what I call the Purpose Crossroads Loop. The Purpose Crossroads Loop. It's the repeating pattern that many high achieving women move through. And then I'm going to give you a simple exercise to help you locate where you are in the loop right now and what your next right step actually is. Because clarity doesn't come from just pushing harder. Clarity comes from seeing what's real. All right, so let's get into it. Most high achieving women are not stuck because they aren't smart enough. That's not the issue. They're not stuck because they don't work hard enough. That's not the issue. They're not stuck because they lack talent or ability. That's not the issue. They are stuck because they're trying to make major life/career decisions without an alignment process. So what happens? They default to what they've always done. They've made decisions based on performance, based on external expectations, based on what looks good on paper. And then they land right back in the same emotional place. Different job, different environment, but same internal experience. So if you've ever said to yourself, why does this keep happening? Why does this keep feeling the same? Why am I not satisfied? Then this episode is for you. Okay, so the Purpose Crossroads Loop. It's this pattern. Well, think of a loop that comes around. The pattern comes around. All right, and it has 5 checkpoints, what I call checkpoints on the loop. So now I want to lay these out clearly because once you see them, you'll start recognizing yourself in them, particularly if you're at a career crossroads. And you might even realize, oh, I've been in this loop for years. Okay, so the loop has 5 checkpoints. And you've heard me talk about some of these if you've been listening to the podcast for a while. Been talking about them separately, and now I'm talking about them all together. Here are the 5 checkpoints. All right. 1, the purpose gap. 2, purpose calling. 3, purpose wake up call. 4, purpose crossroads. And 5, purpose decision, which leads to a new loop. All right, so those are the 5 checkpoints that we're going to go through each one now, and they make up the purpose crossroads loop. All right, so let's look at the first one. Checkpoint 1, purpose gap. The purpose gap is the space between outer success and inner fulfillment. This is where your life looks fine, your career looks fine on paper, everything seems to be great, but inside something feels off. Just something like something's missing. You might feel dread, you might feel numb, like just blah. You might feel stagnant, or you might feel like you're just going through the motions. You might be just doing the career that everybody expected and living the life that everyone expected. And so that's the purpose gap. And this is what I want you to understand about it. The purpose gap is not a personal failure. It's information. It's a signal. It's your inner life saying, this isn't aligned. So now if you've been high achieving for most of your life, you might have learned to dismiss that signal. You might have learned to just push through. You might have learned to be grateful and just keep going. But the purpose gap does not go away because you ignore it. Actually, it gets louder. That was checkpoint 1. Now, checkpoint 2, purpose calling. A purpose calling. There are many of them, and they come throughout life. So they're one of many purpose callings. All right, and this is when a quiet inner pull starts to rise. It might be a thought, a longing, an idea, a desire, and keyword here is persistent. It's not a random win. It's not a passing mood. It's something that just keeps coming back over and over again. You keep circling it, and you might say things like, I keep thinking about doing XYZ, let's say mentoring young women, or I keep feeling drawn to write, or I can't shake the idea of doing work that actually feels meaningful, or I keep imagining myself doing something different, even though I don't know what that is. So these are some thoughts, or these are types of thoughts that may have been coming back to your mind over and over again. But you might do what high achievers often do. Talk yourself out of it, or you minimize it, or you call it unrealistic, or you call it selfish, or you call it a phase. Oh, maybe it'll pass. But what I've seen is that purpose callings are not distraction. They are direction. They are an inner purpose evolutionary impulse pulling you toward realignment. So that was checkpoint 2, purpose calling. Here's checkpoint 3, wake up call, a purpose wake up call. This is when the discomfort breaks through the surface. And for many women, this is the moment when you can no longer pretend. It might happen through a health scare, a breakdown, a loss, a major change, a moment of deep clarity, or just that one day when you realize, I can't keep doing this. And sometimes you can't even explain it. You just know. Your body knows. Your spirit knows. Your emotional life knows. And the wake up call is not here to punish you. It's to reveal what's been true for you for a long time. It forces the question. It forces the decision. That was checkpoint 3, the purpose wake up call. Now we're still on this loop. And now we're going to checkpoint 4, purpose crossroads. Now, this is where you arrive at a decision point. At this crossroads, there are 2 routes you can take, 2 ways to decide, 2 selves that can lead. One route is the decision made from what I call your false purpose self. Your false purpose self. So that's the part of you that's driven by fear or habit or performance or other people's expectations or just external circumstances. Your false purpose self asks questions like this. What looks good on paper? Or what will people think? What feels safe? What's the smartest move? What's the logical move? Those are questions that the false purpose self asks. The other route is the decision made from your true purpose self. Now, that's the part of you that's grounded in who you really are, your passions, your values, your natural abilities, and how you are wired to serve. And I call these parts of your true self your purpose parts. You may have heard me talk about those in the past. All those purpose parts, those four purpose parts, make up your true purpose self. Your passions, your values, your natural abilities, and how you are wired to serve. And in that, everyone has a unique combination of those purpose parts, which I call your own uniqueness. All right, so the true purpose self asks questions like this. What aligned for me? Or what really feels true? Or what kind of service feels meaningful to me? So if you're asking questions like that, you're asking questions from your true purpose self. And here's the key. If you make the decision from your false purpose self, remember, from fear or expectations or just habit of just doing the thing, then you usually end up back in the loop because you didn't solve the real issue. You just made a move or did something different that looked okay on the outside, but still doesn't feel like you on the inside. All right, so far we've covered 4 checkpoints in this Purpose Crossroads Loop. And we have one more, but let me tell you the 4. I'll go over each one. Number 1, purpose gap. Number 2, purpose calling. Number 3, purpose wake-up call. And number 4, the crossroads. So going around this loop. And then number 5 is the decision. This is when you get to the point where every decision starts a new loop. So if you decide from fear, you don't escape the problem. You just move it to a different place. You relocate it. You take it with you. Different job, but the same internal mismatch. But if you decide from your true purpose self, that's how the loop breaks. That's how you start moving toward work, career, and life that actually fits you. All right, so now let me give you an exercise to help you put some of this into practice. So if you're able to, grab a pen and paper, and if not, just listen and answer inside your mind. All right, so I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and just, if you're able to write, take your time and think about it. You can go back and listen to this later. But here's the 5 questions to help you know where you are on this loop or in this Purpose Crossroads Loop. First one, let's see if you're in the purpose gap. Here's the questions to ask. What's the main signal that something feels off for you right now? Like, what's the main thing that's signaling that there's something off? It could be dread, could be feeling stuck. What's the thing? How do you know? What's the signal that you're off? That's the question for the purpose gap. Question 2, your purpose calls. What's the quiet idea you keep returning to? Keeps coming back to your mind. What's the quiet idea back there that keeps coming to your mind? Or what do you keep feeling pulled toward, even if you haven't said it out loud to anyone? Write that down. All right, number 3, purpose wake-up call. What moment, or maybe there was a series of moments, made this undeniable? It just made you know for sure, I can't keep doing this the same way. What happened that made you realize that? Write that down. All right, here's your 4th question about the Purpose Crossroads. What decision are you avoiding? What is the decision that keeps hovering in the background? Write that down. All right, now question 5. This is the decision that brings you to the new loop. What decision have you made before that led you right back here? Think about that. What decision have you made before that led you right back into the same pattern? Because sometimes the loop becomes obvious when you look back at what you've done in the past. So those are your questions for your checkpoint to help you think and pinpoint where you are in this loop. Now, here's what I want you to take away. If you are in the checkpoints 1, 2, or 3, like if you resonate, like you answered those questions, like, yes, this is where I am, either in the purpose gap or experience a purpose calling, or you're experiencing a wake-up call, a purpose wake-up call. Those are the first 3. If you're experiencing any of those, then your next step is not to force a decision. Not to force a decision. Your next step is to get clarity. Your next step is to listen. Your next step is to just name what's true, to stop dismissing the signals. But if you're in loop checkpoint 4, the crossroads, you're right at the crossroads, and your next step is not another pros and cons list. Your next step is an alignment process, a true self decision process, because your next whole section of your life, we call it a decade, your next decade will reflect the part of you that leads right now. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, yeah, I am at a crossroads and I need help making a decision that feels true, then I want you to know that I have a way to support you. Just DM me on LinkedIn, the word next, and I'll send you the details. But for this episode, this is what I'll leave you with. The purpose gap is not here to shame you. Your purpose calling is not here to tease you. And your crossroads is not here to trap you. It's here to invite you into alignment. You'll know who you are. You'll know where you're going, and you'll move forward with purpose. So until next time, this is Dr. Robin